Hello. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we'll be looking at the new release for HairBreak 7.0, and to kind of really understand every little aspect, we'll be creating a simple straight long hair, and we'll use that to explore other features. So if it's your first time coming across HairBreak, you're in for a treat. And if you've used previous versions, this will be quite insightful. Um, so it kind of works the same. The core idea of HairBreak is a management system that helps you kind of manage all your nodes and kind of reduce the need of going into the node editor to create your hair. So we've added a simple empty hair, and it adds a real empty hair for you, the same way you could do add empty hair. Okay, so there are a couple of ways you can generate new hair. In this new version, we could do the generate, and it generates a bunch of hair. And once we have it, we can go ahead and apply. Or we can do, we go into the sculpt mode, grab the density brush, and paint our hair. And the new method we have is this draw hair curves. So once you click on this, it seems nothing happens. If you click, nothing happens. But if you hold down Control and left drag, it will drag out a new hair curve object. And this hair curve object, you can rotate it how you rotate normal Blender objects. So you hold down Control again, you can drag. And you can use the left mouse to adjust the points. If you're happy with what you have, you can click enter, and there you have your hair. So right now it generated just a normal Bezier curve, but if you wanted to add the generated hair onto your curve, your main hair curve, you ensure you select it. You can deselect or unselect it by clicking this. So it's gonna have that selected, or you can select it from here, and now you can draw. If you click OK, the hair is added onto your hair. So if we go into edit, if we hide this, it's part of it. So you can select that and just keep adding a lot of new hair curves. And clicking enter is still confirm. If you can press exit to cancel it. If you want to delete, you press X, the way you do it in Blender, delete. If you want to add more points, if you go to the utilities, you can increase it. So let's say for the next one we want to draw, we want to have 12. If you want to have 3. So that's how you do that. If you hold down Shift, so right now if we move these points, we can see we're just moving the individual points, how you would move a normal Bezier curve. If you hold down Shift and click, you enter an IK mode. So now you can move the curves in kind of like an IK chain way. And it does another thing. So if you're working in curve, let's increase this to, let's say, 7, not 17. So if we have this, and if we're moving this curve, sometimes you might get like rough shapes that look like this, but if you hold down Shift and click, it's gonna smooth out that shape nicely for you. You can hit enter, and you have that all in your head. Am I forgetting anything? You can also duplicate, so create a new one. So Blender shortcut Shift D, you duplicate, you select, and you can scale. So if you want it to snap onto the surface, just click on the root, and it's going to snap onto the surface. So if you move that, just only going to work on surface. So it's a very handy way to just quickly generate some type of hair, like eyebrows. Speaking of eyebrows, if you hold down Control Shift, and if you draw, it's going to snap on the mesh. So it's going to be a completely flat object. So if you hold Control Draw, it's a normal curve. You draw it out. If you hold Control Shift, it's gonna draw on the surface. And we can box select this and rotate them, and there you have your eyebrows. So it's a very nice and fun way we can now create hair. So other tools remain the same. You have the duplicate. You can duplicate hair curves. One other thing. So if you want to join hair, this is a question I get. So in a situation maybe you don't have any hair, and you just like, let's say you draw out a bunch of curves and hit enter. So this is just a normal blender curves. So we want to convert it to hair. So in the utilities, you can come here, mesh, and hit OK, and it makes this a hair curve. What about if you have existing hair curves? So let's create a normal one. So empty hair, and we grab density and draw in just normal hair. Okay, so we want to add it onto HairBreak. It's pretty easy. So you want to ensure that this object is parented to this. So Control P, attach the surface so it's connected. And now you can select this and click on this, add existing hair curve, and okay, and you have it inside HairBreak now. So that's how to basically create new hair with HairBreak. There are different methods which you can use, and all of them work just nice. So most of the tools are self-explanatory. You have split, you can split existing hair, and just things to help you work faster. So let's go ahead and start creating our first hair to kind of see the improvements we get with HairBreak. So we want to create a nice long straight hair. So we're going to just generate them for this instance, and let's use an image mask to kind of isolate the region. I'm going to set this to 2048, and we can call this hair mask. So we set the color to white. White is no effect and black is effect. So we can click on this brush icon. It's going to set everything in the texturing for you. All you just need to do is come in here and paint it. So let's paint this region. So if you're happy with it, you can go ahead and save it. Yeah, if you come here, so you want to click on save all images. What this does, it saves it inside the blend file. So for this instance, that maybe you don't want to export out the image just yet, you can have it saved inside the blend file. So let's add the density of hair we want to work with. Let's do 10, and 12 as the point is fine. So we can go ahead and maybe reduce this a bit, 0.25 or 0.3. We can hit OK. So now let's look at the next feature, selection sets. So if we go into the sculpt mode, we have the selection set, and you can notice it has been reordered. Previously it was like the second to the last, but lots of improvement have gone into this, which makes it more of a nice workflow tool. So we can select half of this, and we'll click left, and we can invert the selection and name this right. So the whole system was reworked. The approach, everything is done almost nicely. Note that this new upgrade will work much better in Blender 4.5, and the reason for that is lot of more operators has been kind of exposed or created for the new hair type. So this release took a lot of advantage of that to kind of make things work the right way. That's why it will work most part for Blender 4.5. So what can you do now in the new selection set? You can hide. You can hide your selections, and grab a move brush, so you can actually legitimately just work in half part of it. Or if you don't want to hide it, you can lock it. So it's visible but locked, and you can affect it. So these are very helpful tools that every groomer would need to get the best possible result. Once you're done, you unlock it, and we can lock the other part. So we can unlock this for now. Another feature we have here is you can now rename. Previously, we could not do that, but now you can rename V2. So you can rename nicely. You can add to existing, which you could not do previously. So let's say we want to add, so if we select left, we can see. Let's say we want to add these bottom portions. So we can go ahead and select them all. So we want to add them, so we can do add. And it has been added to this selection set. So those are very helpful stuff. That's why it's moved up, because we can actually now use this as a real tool in getting the best possible result. So it's all a matter of cleaning it. I might not spend so much time with it. Yeah. So when you have a lot of selection sets, it might start getting confusing what hair you're selecting. So we have selection set colors. So there's no way to preview hair colors in geometry node in the viewport, except like through material. So you can switch, just click on selection set preview, and you can change the color to kind of see how it's looking, or kind of the separation. Especially with the new Vulkan, it's pretty fast working in this mode, so it makes it easier for you to kind of see, like especially when you have lots of selection sets, and you can work smartly. Okay, just a nice quick tip. If you want to have nice looking hair in the viewport while working, this is a setup which I would show how the makeup of it in a bit. So being able to see everything you're doing nicely helps. So if we go back to the previous, you see how it's okay, but I mean this looks nicer. So all I'm doing is here in the viewport shading. I'm ensuring I'm using Studio, have my specularity. For the cavity, I set it to bold, and these are my settings. So this helps give your viewport grooming nice look. It's going to even look much better once we add more children hair. Okay, so for the children hair, I want to use interpolate because it's better. It's just it takes a lot more to get to look right, but it produces a much better result. And I want to show you guys how to get good hair, especially when dealing with issues of this type of hairstyle, because geometry node for some reason struggles with the distance. I will show you what I'm talking about in a bit. If we select interpolated, we can use the same hair mask we used to generate it, and let's increase density. So like for the most part, it did a very good job. But now we have this stuff here. These are things that you could fix with patting the kind of defining like areas where the split happens. But now it's confused. So this is a feature that already existed a long time, so it's path by texture. We'll be looking at that. But before that, this is an upgrade to the tabulation. In the last version, this was what you are using. It's a more simple, lighter or less calculation, an optimized version of it. But for some instance like this, the result is not comparable to using this one. So I brought back the much better one as the default, but you can always use the old one if it doesn't really matter to you. Okay, so for the pattern of the texture, so we want to define where it's right or left, so that it doesn't just interpolate everything as we are seeing here. So for that, let's set this to completely black. We can call this hair underscore pattern. Okay, so once we create that, we can click on the brush. I'm going to turn off X symmetry. I'll set this color to like red. For the fall-off, which is very important, you want to use something with a constant stroke, so we don't have bleeding in the brush, or as little as possible, so that we can define a very sharp cut for the split. As you can see, the moment we do that, we kind of have it start looking better. So let's see if fix what's going on here. It's just painting out and saying, hey, this is the left and this is the right. So you can use multiple color to define separate areas. So we can define this area as its own thing. We could split it here. Probably needs to rework the back area to have better flow. But anyways, it's looking good in the front. And that's all that matters. Yeah, so this is looking much better. One new feature we have with HairBreak is, let's see, if we select, so there are new operators, or at least utility operators that come. So if we select the left part, let's say we want to get a better root that looks like this. So instead of like going in and like grooming it, which you could do for sure, you could just use this utility feature. So we want to click on edit hair shape. So once you click on that, you have this. So you want to click on adjust last operation, and you have this. So you can go in and adjust the hair. You can choose how much it affects. You can choose to affect the mid region, kind of adjust it, but ideally it's the root. It's kind of built for the root, so you can go in and play with how you want it to, how you want the roots to look. So let's say we want to bring this down slightly. Maybe something like this. Okay, so once we're happy with that, we have our new root. So you can select and deselect. Another operator that we have here, we have 3 new ones. So interpolate curves. So what this does is, let's say we create 3 curves, or even let's add this. Okay, so we have just 3 curves, and maybe you want to use children hair, but sometimes it's tricky to do that, or it would look like if we make this a hair curve now and use the children hair, even if we play with the radius, it's not really filling things out. So you want to fill it up at least with the base primary groom. To do that, you can do interpolate curves. So it's going to interpolate the position of the curve. You can also click on adjust last operation and you can increase the count. This is the cool one. You can increase the spread, so it spreads out more and really covers that area like an interpolation. If you want to increase the result, you can use additive, though this is more calculative intensive. It's going to get slow if you increase it crazy, but if you just want a nice starting base, you can have this and you have it looking nice. So that's that operator, and we have one which is just like house cleaning. Maybe you created a curve. I don't know if it will work. It will just work for hair objects. But it's basically going to recalculate the points and make sure they are evenly distributed, so that everything works nicely. So we can do a recalculate point. And if you can see the difference, I mean, this curve is, well, you can see the slight change there. It's basically making sure everything is clean. Okay, so that's it. That's the kind of the children hair. It's important to use pattern. I mean, this is not always the case, but when you're covering large area, it's important it's important you're able to kind of say, hey, this is a section you should kind of focus on, and yeah. So we can, let's reduce this. Let's get start seeing, and this is why I use this viewport display. We go back to the other one, you see how ugly it looked. Right. Maybe I'll reduce this. Maybe add some specularity so it looks like nice hair, shiny. Okay, so this is the hair radius. You can basically play with like the size of the hair, the shape of the hair. For the simulation, it works right off the back, so you can just play this and it works. If you want collision, we can duplicate this and move this to a new collection. Hide it if it still work. So yeah, so it's now receiving a collision. We can play with the offset 0.01. So now it's colliding with a hair object. If we move this, okay. Show your collision object is moving with it. And you can actually use this object as a collision object too. We have other stuff. This is new. If your hair is too much and acting crazy, you can resample it. It's something I added recently. You can also use image mask to mask out region you don't want to simulate. So we can do a same mask. We have to enable that first. Okay, so as you can see, the other part simulates and this front part doesn't. So it's a way to so you can have nice fall off. Yeah, so that's the hair simulation. We've covered utility, the draw, and the count. Select long edges if you're working with tube pipeline. So if you're doing hair tubes, so let's use just this closed cylinder, and we add a bunch of edge loops. So like going in and selecting the long edges can be tricky. So you can do select long edges. So it's gonna say no boundary edge found. That's because it's a closed cap. So usually you want an open cap. So that's where the select pole comes in. You can go ahead and delete those caps. We do select long edges. It's selected. You can invert the selection. But let's see if we apply the rotation. It should be able to get the long edges. Yep. So Just need to apply it, and it will select your long edge. So we can duplicate this, delete this, and if we run, it's the mesh to make it a curve. Okay, so if we interpolate this, fills up, and we will do spread 20. Probably not a good idea. Okay, it works. But ideally, we would want to like do section by section. The reason for it is so that we can get just the volume. So that now we've basically filled it up with splines because it's going to interpolate in. Yeah, so just a lot of tools for different pipeline. Different ways to generate hair. So the snap CV to surface, that CV means curve basically. So if we, this is turning to a full tour of the HairBrick. I thought it would just be a new feature, but it's fine. It's information is for waste. If we do, let's see if we can preview our normals. So if I switch directions, now if we select the tip, we can see we have one facing here and one facing here. So this is easy to fix, but if you have like 20 hairs with this issue, so select the first, so it's all over the place. You can fix that by doing recalculate CV normal, and now if you select the first, it's recalculated everything. So they are all in one side. So let's switch this. So if we need to snap it to the surface, we can do snap to surface, select the object and click OK. So it's going to snap it. This is a live snapping. So if you go to the modifier tab, you can reverse, can play with different parameters depending on your needs. So it comes in handy even when the curve is going in through the object. You can start deleting points that are inside. Yeah, so that's that feature, and once you're happy, you can do hair to curve. Make sure we apply, and there we go. So I would advise, if you have like a shape like this that has 2 points, you want to convert it to mesh first, so that those points, we kind of lock in that shape before we convert it to curve, so that we don't lose that shape. Okay, so now into the modifier. So the modifier is still the same for the most part. One thing that changed is new icons. So effect has green icons, styling has yellow, and operation has red for danger. Well, the main goal for this release was to make it easy to get a professional looking result right off the back. So parameters were changed, if modifiers were updated to make it easy and more efficient to get a good result. So let's say for this hair, we can just add a simple noise, and right off the back we have it looking decent. You can play with the scale. And it starts coming together nicely. I think we'll adjust the shape. I have that locked. Okay, it's open. So if you have a feature request, let me know. I think we have a Discord group that you can request feature there. I'm open to like new ideas of improving this tool. So it's looking right good off the back. We can add the clump. So the clump is also looking good. We'll also talk about same issue with the interpolate. We can see we're getting this weird annoying stuff that you get when it's a full head of hair. Don't worry, we have a fix for that. So we can play with the guide distance of 0.01. One cool thing with this new interpolate, thanks to, I forgot the creator, I'll try to remember. Let's see, maybe I can give credit. Who was that guy? Okay, it's a different guy's product. Yeah, so this is the basically inspiration for this new approach for the clump. What this allows is we can now have layered clumps. So let's say we have the shape. If we duplicate this clump and we create smaller shapes, the clumps will respect the existing clump and build on top of it. Yeah. So clump out of clump. So it's nice. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's say you're happy with this, but then you still have this annoying stuff. You can enable the mask. The mask for certain nodes has been updated to really kind of mask out region. Previously, they were kind of using factor to control where it masks, but it was not enough to avoid stuff like this, but now it does. So we can create like a clump, and we can go ahead and invert that for now. So what we want to do is paint out where we don't want. So this region. It'd be nice if you use the sharp follow-up so it knows you mean business. We just paint out the center region to delete it out of the calculation, and that's all. We have it looking good. If you see any, just remove anyone disturbing the piece. So you have a nice looking clump, and that also works for the coily hair. This one, this is also a new introduction. It usually comes with that same issue, so we can use that same clump and it fixes that issue. Yeah, so right off the back you get even nice looking results with this. And for the most part, yeah, you don't get any glitching now with the simulation. Even when you use a clump, it just works nicely. So this is a release I'm quite happy and proud of, as my goal was to kind of get it to that next professional level, and I think we did that. So yeah, it's a nice polished tool. You can go ahead and explore. This is not shipping with presets this time because I think you can figure it out. I mean, it's just creative ideas. If you want to create a kinky hair, it's like, oh, maybe noise will come in handy, increase the noise and stuff. Like I said, everything has been tuned to work nice. So, like for example, the braid. So we can say we want to create braid out of this. Guide this groom, so we can just add braid, and you should get nice looking result immediately. I want to copy the radius, so copy it onto this. So there we go. So we can increase this to 1000. Play with the shade. Oh, you know when you're working and you're watching like a particular show, and then now like working on braid is linked to watching Superman, the recent released one. I was watching it last night while tweaking this presets. Yeah, it's just that this type of things that happens. Yeah, so right off the bat, you get a nice decent result you can start working with. And so the goal is to kind of make it easy to get professional level work using HairBreak. So that will be it. Um, I think there are a lot of more stuff that you might have question with, but that's the kind of baseline new update for the new HairBreak. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment. But in these coming days, I'll be putting out like log form videos of me grooming different hairstyles, and probably put a short one, the speed sculpt, on Twitter with music. So that will be it. Thank you for watching it, and check the product out if you've not gotten your copy. If you have one, go and update. Bye bye for now. See you next time.